This is the Darren Green Show. Welcome to the Darren Green Show. I'm yours, Darren Green, here to give you another great episode of the podcast that never sleeps. How you guys been? If you're watching this video on YouTube, be sure to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button, and be sure to tap the bell to get notified of all of the new videos. Now, if you're listening to us on iTunes, Google Play, give me a little rate, give me a little subscribe on there too. You can also follow me on Spotify and Radio Public, and just all those places. And also, please follow me on Twitter and Instagram at TDGS Official. All of that information is in the description of from wherever you're listening or watching this podcast on, guys. Now, this podcast is brought to you by rants. I feel like I have to rant today. There's a couple of things that I just really need to get off my chest. First of all, a little trivial conversation. What really grinds my gears ever since I had this show, ever since I had this podcast for ever, people that you do know and people that I don't know that listen to the show, this has nothing to do with you guys. But people that are my friends, family, that asked me, what did you talk about last episode? I'm like, honey, no. First of all, I really don't make it known, but it does really piss me off when people that I do know that I expect to actually listen to my content, actually watch my show or listen to it or whatever, that they don't have to ask me what I was talking about. What I want them to talk about is, well, this is how I feel about what you said on the show the other day. I really wasn't feeling with that. I really wasn't rocking with that. But you get what I'm saying? Not what you talked about. I'm like, if I tell you what I'm talking about, child, what's the point of you watching it? Or listening to it? That's just a little bit of rants I got to say. That's just the one rant. But no, we still going to rant the whole episode, though, because we have other things to talk about, child. Now, as you know, I didn't do a pre-show, which this is what you're listening to now. This pre-show is late. I didn't do a pre-show because I was in Pride NYC last Sunday, and child, we got to talk about it, child. Yeah, I feel like we have to really get into it because I really tried my best to be on time to make sure everything was okay, but I ended up missing the parade. Now, little to my knowledge, and this is nothing, when I went to Washington Pride, let me tell you something, that Pride event went all the way up until 9:00. Okay, NYC Pride, it's on curfew, honey. It's on curfew. And my two cousins that I went with and I didn't know that. We thought it was just gonna be it's all gonna be a whole day thing. I already had the 411 that it was gonna end at 4, but I'm like, stuff really don't end at 4, things go over, people still doing riding floats and stuff like that. No, it was over. First of all, let me just sit there and say I love New York to death. It's my home. It's soon to be my hometown one day, one of these days when I get my money up. However, this Pride event was very unorganized, very much so. Now, when I went to Washington, and I'm gonna bring this up because it's the only event I can compare it to. When I went to Washington Pride, we literally walked up the subway stairs because the escalator wasn't working. That was a trip. We walked up. All we had to do was walk 3 blocks, and we were there. The parade was right there. We didn't need to go nowhere. It was amazing. We get up at Penn Station, finally get out, and Pride, I just see a whole bunch of people in Pride outfits just walking just in all directions. And what really pissed me off was that when we pick a new direction to walk in, there's always a bunch of people going the opposite direction. So I'm like, we're over here like, oh my God, are we going the wrong way? And the people telling us, oh no, 4th and 5th Street, 6th and 3rd Street, all these streets that we don't even, know because we're not from New York. All of that happened. And I was just like, when we got there, my cousins wanted to eat because they didn't eat, I guess, for breakfast. Mind you, we came late anyway. I wanted to leave around 10. I wanted to leave at the departure at 10 because we would have got there at 11 and Pride would have just started because Pride starts at 12. But no, some of us was late, honey. I'm not gonna name no names, cousin, but some of us was late, and that's understandable. And we got there when we got there. But when we got there, people were saying it was still happening, so we was trying to find it. We just kept on not finding it. And then the police was just the way that the police handled the whole situation. They was like blocking us off from major streets. People were trying to get through it, but they was blocking. I'm like, do y'all have us stuck in here? Are we stuck like forever? People's cars like were in spots where they wasn't supposed to be in, and people had to wait until the police. Because usually what happens after Pride is over, they open up the streets and stuff, and people can drive through it and do whatever they got to do. But for the time being, that thing is closed. And we're just walking through. We just see a whole lot of people in Pride outfits and whatever outfits they were doing. I mean, at the end of the day, it was a lot of camaraderie. It was a lot of nice people that, talk to us and be like, hey, happy Pride, this and the third. But I don't know, child. That was just a little bit underorganized. I did my research afterwards because it was like, well, maybe they had an Instagram page and they told us where everything is. I looked at their Instagram page. There was no 411 or where the route was going to be. Routes kept on changing when we kept on asking people. I'm like, so does anybody know where this is? I mean, like, what happened? We were like 2 to 3 hours in New York. And we finally asked someone that gave us the right answer. Honey, Pride over. You missed it. And I was just mad because I had a plan like, yo, Nene Leakes and Cynthia Bailey and some other like Potomac Housewives and Andy Cohen was on a float. And I wanted to see those people. And then also I heard Wendy Williams was there too. My best friend sent me something. I'm like, yo, I was literally there and I didn't see nobody. Like, I just wasted my time. And that was a $33 round trip on the train. Now, me going to New York, I thought that thing was going to be $26. That's what it's usually. But I guess they mark up prices because it's Pride, everything. Everybody wants to mark up everything. Girl, I didn't even get to see them. Like, I was so mad. Because that was my whole purpose. I wanted to go to Pride because of Pride, period. But I wanted to go to Pride to also see people like that's celebrities. It would have been a good moment. I would have, like, in the street that they were, I guess, doing the parade at, it wasn't that big. So it was like, y'all was able to see each other. I would have been like, Nene. But no, we missed it. And that's how Pride ended for me. Another flop. Because y'all already know about the last one, child. Now, I got some friends saying I should, do a little story time of the entire day of watching the Pride, but I've continuously talked about it, and it's okay. But I mean, this Pride was definitely, I mean, the parade part, I will say, hands down, probably when I was in Washington, it was a lot better because I actually got to see stuff. And things was actually organized and you actually knew where things are. Maybe it's just because it's Washington, D.C. and New York is such a big city where there's a whole bunch of stuff going on every day. Fine, I get it. But that's just, that really just made it. Then we went home, we was trying to do something, but I was like, no, I'm tired. I was going to do the podcast because I would have been happy and go lucky. Like, oh my God, like I just came from Pride, NYC, da. And I found out all these people that I did know or people that I know on social media or whatever was there and we didn't even meet up. Like I sat there and scheduled and it's a good thing my cousins came too because I had plans to go with people from my college and they ended up flaking. One, which it was a serious issue, which I understand, and others that they just flaked and that's fine. But God, like it's a good thing I didn't come alone. Because I'd have really been out of luck. I would have been just, walking around. But definitely, I know with this type of event, you have to be with people that know where things are. And I think that's what tripped me. And, this is a learning experience because, next time I'm definitely will be going to Pride next year. This is not stopping me from doing NYC Pride because I feel like I still want to do it and definitely, but next time I'm going to definitely be going with people that know where things are. So I'll be making friends in New York, child. And, I told my cousin, I was like, well, Philly or whatever, like she's more of a Philly person. So, we'll do Philly Pride with you. And then I'll just find some real friends that won't flake on me to go to NYC Pride, which yep, it's the whole year. So I mean, at the end of the day, I like my outfit. My outfit was cute. If you want to check it out, it's on my personal page, Black Kendall. Like I said, links in the description of wherever you're listening or watching this is in. So I mean, I felt like the outfit was cute. I got it from ASOS. Shout out to ASOS, and also shout out to this station too. I'm in my internship right now, and they allowed me to record this podcast. Their station is called Jazz on 2. You can listen to them, stream them online, or if you have a FM radio or HD radio, go ahead. Listen to them. They're a really good show, and if you love jazz, of course, this is a jazz station. But they gave me the option to record my podcast today. Thank you. But yeah, there's just a lot going on. And in spite of the end of Pride, I wanted to talk about some other things as well. Hold on. Ooh, Siri trying to talk to me. I also wanted to talk about the Grapevine. Now, if you don't know what the Grapevine is, please, you need to check it out right now. Stop this podcast. I'm telling you to stop this podcast right now and check it out. Subscribe to them. The Grapevine is a place. It's on YouTube, and it's a panel of different Black activists or commentators all coming together to have this conversation about whatever is going on in the Black community. And this one in particular it was a conversation on LGBT Black millennials, which I wanted to touch on, towards the end of, this Pride conversation and Pride Month. In spite of all of that, I wanted to, conclude it with a conversation that everyone needs to be talking about. And this is a conversation that needs to be had by a lot of people in the community. I will say the episode definitely gave me chills in some instances. I will explain right now. One of the commentators that was talking about his experience whenever there was anything LGBT on television or in person, if you see somebody walking by, and one of the commentators was like, well, his mother talked about how, oh my goodness, calling them the F word or saying, oh my God, this is a sin, this, that, and the third. And he remembers feeling like sick to his stomach, which is definitely like a chilling moment for me, because I feel like that is exactly what I got from my dad. Because, my father was very, in his time, homophobic. I'm not sure about what he is now, but now that I've came out to him or whatever, came out to my parents, I don't know how he is now. But definitely before it was very homophobic. And I remember, feeling sick to my stomach, because it's like when you think that you're doing whatever you're doing or however you are, you think you're doing the right thing. And then someone that you care about near and dear will say, oh, well, will tell you symbolically or, physically, whatever, that, you're doing it wrong or this is something wrong with you. Like you automatically just feel sick. Cause I'm like, what is wrong with me? So, I did vibe with that, and it was a chilling moment. I had to actually stop the show in certain parts to actually process what was said. And that's what the Grapevine will do to you. They will make you pause the show just so you can like think and be like, wow, that's what like to really get what they really meant with certain things. And it was a chilling moment. They talked about a lot of things. And I just wanted to take a moment on that. If there are listeners out here that do feel that, the acceptance of your family is just not where you wanted it to be or whatever, this could be like a little PSA it's best to ignore the ones you love so you can survive. And that's all the advice I can give to any of my listeners that do deal with that, because it can be annoying, because it's very much annoying, and it's very much like just time consuming when you have to just worry about what your family think and just ignore and live. And one thing that Billy Porter did say on the Teray show was, if you cannot find that love in your family, in your immediate family, you can look elsewhere. You can have more connections just because your blood does not mean like this is the only person I got that can ever support me in this way. Because I find solitude with friends, or not friends, but my best friend. But definitely just ignore. Because at the end of the day, they'll come around later, or if they never do come around, it's fine. Like you got to live your life. Can't be living for other people. But, I had my little, not mean to rant a little bit, but yeah. They also talked about internalized homophobia, which was it was an interesting topic that they talked about. And it basically talked about like people in the LGBT community that internalize homophobia or homophobic views on themselves. It's like, for example, if, someone is gay or whatever, but they make sure that they don't act a certain way because they don't want to be looked at as too or this type of gay or too feminine or stuff like that. That's internalized homophobia. And I never really noticed that. Even when the guy was talking about, the same one that was talking about his situation with his mom, he was talking about how he was afraid to, he was cool with this person that was trans, but to walk out in public with that said person was hard for him because he, do I have to fight for this person? Like, do I have the energy or the strength to fight for this person in the streets? Because street harassment can be real brutal for people that's in the trans community, which, yeah, I mean, I felt that in myself, and I was like, well, dang, it was times I guess I've internalized homophobia within me. And, because there was certain people that I would hang out with, but like because I hang out with a variety of people, and the people that I hung out with that was, extra flamboyant, I'm like, do I really want to risk my whole safety if we get into a little street fight or whatever because one person says something and then, you getting all, oh my God, like, you get what I'm saying? So I get it. And I feel like that is just that is something that needs to be talked about too, because it's like, it's not only straight people can be homophobic, but there can be gay people that are homophobic as well. I always felt like we were immune to it because we are, but no, anybody can be. But, we have to fight against it because that's it's a lot. They also talked about how there were things that in the community, in the black community, because this is really talking about the black gays, not for my white gays that listen to the podcast. Sorry, but this conversation was really towards the black gays, and they talked about how things were never talked about, and they wish that it was because it would have changed a lot of things. Like, for example, Martin Luther King's right hand man. I don't know his name off the top of my head, but he was identified as LGBT. Also, George Washington Carver wasn't outed, but he was LGBT. And also the whole thing with the Stonewall situation, the whole Stonewall riots, it started because of police brutality. These cops were killing black LGBT, and they started rioting. And that's why we have pride now. You get what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that, should be talked about, because I feel like pride is definitely focused only on, the parties, the events, all of that good stuff that we love to go to and, get our lives with and stuff. But, the history has to be talked about as well. And we have to keep these conversations going even after Pride Month, same as we would with Black History Month. Just because Black History Month doesn't end doesn't mean that we don't have to talk about, things in the black community, which is another thing that they talked about on there too. They talked about the tension, which I always bring up on this podcast, and I'm glad that a commentary that has a better influence than me actually brought that up, that there is tension between black LGBT and black cisgender people. And also, they also made it known that, not every black person is homophobic, which is, of course, that is period. But I will say that there is tension. And for a long time, and I've said this to my best friend last night, like for a long time, because of the tension, I really didn't like my community for the longest until I went to my gender studies class in 12th grade and I started to see, there were straight men there that, I really didn't really think much of or whatever. But then actually hearing that they actually were allies or they actually didn't care who I was. But, for a long time, I've been around people that were homophobic. So it just warped my reality of how I feel about black people. But now, being that there's so much situations that's going on in the black community, I cannot deny. You get what I'm saying, right? Well, I would never deny my race, but I cannot, turn the blind eye. When I went to college, in my second college, I was asked to be a part of a pro-black club and actually work their social media, which I will be working on this fall. And, it's just a bunch of straight men and straight women. And they know who I am. They know what type of person I am. We had conversations, and they're cool with me being a part of their club, which is eye-opening, And I feel like I was just young, and I just, just hated that for the longest I was dealt like that. But it's not everybody, Not everybody's homophobic, just like not everybody's racist. And that's just something that I've learned, and I'm pro-black and pro-gay. But anyway, just to close on the whole pride situation, child, did y'all hear about Lil Nas? Now, Lil Nas apparently came out as gay or whatever because he tweeted something, and it kind of poked at him, I'm paraphrasing, but he said, for those who don't know, but some already know, and some of that don't, they probably ain't gonna mess with me after this. This is who I am, this, that, and the third. And then he retweeted some things like his music cover with him on the horse, and then it was like a dark city or whatever. But if you zoom in, it's like different colors, like the colors of the rainbow. So LGBT, and it's like, and he retweeted it saying like, "How did y'all not suspect this?" Now, I'm cool. I'm that is good. Like, and I understand why he held out from telling the truth from the start, because, would he have gotten that number one? And that's just no. And first of all, he's a rapper, in which we never seen that before. A black LGBT male rapper, number one on the charts. I mean, it's a joyous occasion. I mean, that's the best. That's the greatest gift that Pride Month has given us. You get what I'm saying? And yeah. Before I really didn't care much. I don't know. I didn't really care much for Lil Nas until now, because I guess I didn't know what he was trying to do. Like, is the country thing your thing? Or are you trying to rap? Or are you trying to just do the trends or whatever? You're trying to just mix two genres together so it can make some kind of trend for the next person to do. I don't know. And I really didn't have time to really care. But then after this story came out, I was like, oh, I really mess with him now, because at this point, he needs our support. I hope he's not going to be a one-hit wonder, but I have a feeling that he probably is, because, he probably is going to lose some fans now. Like, well, I'm not going to be naive and say that he's not going to lose a support system that he had, especially, the country listeners that listen to him, because I do believe he has country fans. How they going to feel, and also the black people, I don't know how. The way I read it, I've seen a lot of stuff on Twitter and Instagram, in which people on Twitter and Instagram are very brutal. The only people that were saying some crazy stuff was the Barbs, because the Barbs were the ones that had the tea all along, because, he had a Nicki Stan page. Apparently, well, he denies it, but they have no reason to lie. You get what I'm saying? If they don't have hard evidence. That's so Beyonce was saying some stuff. Yeah. So, other than that, I feel like everyone was supporting. And the reason why I'm saying that people were supporting was because there was some people on Facebook and some people on social media saying that, oh my goodness, the black LGBT, you're just making fun of him. This is why people stay straight. I'm like, I don't see where anybody was making fun of him. I think this is just a joyous occasion. People are making tweets that seem funny, but it was in congratulations. Like, for example, I seen something on Twitter. They had like a video of Raven Simone going crazy on That So Raven show or whatever. And then the caption was like, when a black LGBT boy gets number one on the country charts or on the charts in general. And it was just like a joyous occasion. Like, that's what it was. If it came off funny, it came off funny. I didn't see anywhere people was making fun of Lil Nas. Now, we might be getting that later when, the straight people get into it. And I'm not isolating straight because, there probably was people in the LGBT community that was talking crap or saying, or, giving him a side eye, but it's not the majority. And that's just all it is. That's just, people are going to say whatever. That's social media. But shout out to Lil Nas for actually being himself. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think that's why I kind of messed with him because, I feel like I'm the type of person that I like people that are famous or people that have like a personality that's real and authentic, like people that's being themselves rather than people that are putting up a front. Because you can tell when someone's putting up a front. And I feel like that's kind of what I got from him at first, but now I feel like he's not giving a you know what, because he's number one on the charts. He made a lot of money off that song. And yeah, he just bridged two genres together. So he did all that. But yeah, I liked it. It was a good, interesting little bit of tea that I got at the end of Pride, which is fun. It's good. I hope I hope his career lives long and prosper, to be honest. But I'm dragging. So let's just change the subject. Let's get into these hot topics because I think we're ready for them. I done talked enough in here. So anyway, let's talk about Nicki Minaj. Because I feel like I wish I would have talked about this on Sunday because I feel like it might be just dragging a little bit. But Nicki Minaj fired off on the BET in a tweet. And basically the tweet said, I'm paraphrasing, this is what you get for your wrongdoings or whatever. You could have been a prestigious show, but you ended up being a reality show and this, that, and the third. And she basically said that because BET made about 4.5 million viewers last year, but this year they took a dive down to 2.4 million views. It's like half that they made last year. Only half. Now, logically speaking, the proper explanation of why it went down was because people don't watch cable television like they used to. And, I'm not going to be, it's karma too. Karma probably was up in there. It's probably in there a little bit. But yeah, people don't watch cable television no more. People don't really watch award shows. I mean, when I talked about it, it had when I did a highlight on it, it had rave reviews. Like people were saying positive things, just people was not watching it. I guess Nicki's influence really does do something. But at the end of the day, yes, they shouldn't have did what they did. And that's bad karma for what they, that little intern that had the idea of even thinking about tweeting something like that. And, just more over on that situation. Also, Nicki announced on the Jimmy Fallon show that she is working on a new album. She's got the name for it and everything, and it's coming out soon. Now, I just want to know about these ticket sales, these ticket dates. I just need to know these tour dates because now that we know that you're not on the tour with Chris Brown, honey, we need to know like what is going on. Because let me tell you something. Like I never been to a Nicki concert in my life, and I want to go like so bad, but we just gotta wait for. But I hope this project, I hope you have now, I'm going to be honest. I hope that the album is not lighthearted like the song that she came out with Megatron. I love Megatron to death. I swear I do. But I'm going to need something that's a little bit more harder in lyrics, in lyricism and stuff like that. Because we know you can do it. Like we know you can do it. It's not like you run out of things. I don't know what you need to do. Just bring back Roman or something. I don't know. But you need to do something, okay? Because we need this. And another thing I want to talk about, this to the Barbs. The Barbs, I consider myself as a Barb, but I'm a conscious Barb. And people that are like how I am would know what that means. I'm a conscious Barb. I love Nicki to death. But I am very realistic and I'm not biased because first of all, I'm in the business where I cannot be biased. And Okay, so Meg Thee Stallion, she had her top 5 female rappers, and Nicki wasn't on the list, and some barbs got mad about it, and she addressed one in on Twitter, and now the barbs are mad at Meg. At the end of the day, I feel like she's entitled to her opinion. Period. At the end, that's it. She's entitled to her own top 5 female artists. I mean, what is like just because someone doesn't mention Nicki does not mean that they don't like Nicki. And we've seen interviews where she says she wanted to work with her, that she messes with her as long as everything's natural, of course. And I have no issue with it. I had no issue with her not mentioning Nicki. It would have been nice. You get what I'm saying? It would have been cool. Like, oh yeah, she put Nicki on there because not a lot of people, not a lot of female artists really do give Nicki credit like that. But I feel like she was being honest. I feel like she wasn't trying to be rude or trying to be like shady because oh yeah, I'm not gonna pick Nicki on it or whatever. Like she really felt like she wanted to talk about she was the OGs. She's with the OGs, and I feel like Meg Thee Stallion is that age where yes, when she was growing up, she probably was listening to Kim, and then what's the other person she said on there? What is her name? Oh my god, beat me 911. What was that girl? Oh my god, I really forgot her. But anyway, it's probably gonna come up later, but she probably was listening to those female rappers back in her time when she was little or whatever. Her mom was a rapper. Um, well, she tried to get into rapping, and her mom probably was listening to the old school raps, the OG female rappers. So yes, Missy Elliott. Okay, there we go, Missy Elliott. That's what. Oh my god, I cannot believe I forgot her. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, Barbs, y'all need to calm down because y'all been on the 10. Now I get the people that really be coming for Nicki, like yeah, keep calling Miley Purdue Chicken. Like she is officially Purdue Chicken. But people that just like, in the whole thing with Cash Doll, like y'all need to leave Cash Doll alone. This is why people, and I'm sorry, but Jason Lee, I don't respect him or like him or anything like that, but he has a point when he went on the Breakfast Club saying that it's really not that I don't like Nicki Minaj, it's just that her fans make me not like her. You could say the same thing about the Beehive too, because I feel like a lot of reason why Beyonce gets a lot of backlash is because the Beehive is so freaking crazy. Like the way they address, I don't know that girl name, but the girl that was trying to talk to Jay-Z about that drink or something like that at some basketball game. Y'all over here sending her death threats. Really? That's what we doing? I mean, and I think it's just kids, because to be honest, like the OG Barbs and the OG Beehives, we ain't got time for that. We just want some new music. We need some new content. And if someone comes for the queen or the queen of rap, then it's over. But I'm not gonna sit there and try to and troll somebody off some innuendo or some lighthearted thing. Oh, she didn't mention the queen's name in there. Girl, bye. Who are you? Who is she really? You get what I'm saying? You guys idolize Nicki too much. Like I love her, but I don't idolize her. That's the difference. And y'all kids, child, it's the kid Barbs. It's not the OG Barbs. Cause OG Barbs, child, we look, we ain't in this. We done did our mess back when Nicki was beefing with Kim. You get what I'm saying? I respect Kim cause I know I'm a conscious Barb. I know there would be no Nicki without Kim. I understand that now. But that's just how it is, child. They just gotta grow up, Sharon. I ain't got time to be fighting. No. Just like if I was, Lord Jesus, if Cardi was out back then, when I was like a heavy Barb, like I would hate Cardi, especially if that Harper's Bazaar thing happened back in the day, girl. But I grow up and I'm like, girl, at the end of the day, Nicki ain't gonna be here forever. And during her breaks, I need to be humored by other rap artists. So here they are. Yeah. So that's the whole thing with Nicki and them. But hold on, let me change the subject. A little bit of quick news though. You heard about April. Now I talked about this on a previous podcast where April was calling Moniece out of her name. Well, she was hanging with Fizz or whatever, which I thought was weird back then. and she was calling Moniece out of her name and stuff like that, calling her the B word. And I'm just like, yo, Fizz, why are you over here hanging with some woman that is talking about your child's mom, calling her out her name? So now we know that they're together, which we already kind of knew that. But yes, they are in a relationship. And I just love this tweet that was made when it was a picture of them together or whatever, Fizz in April. I'm like, dust yourself off and try his friend. Like, it was a play on Aaliyah song. I'm like, yo, you really dating? She gonna be on Raz B next. I'm like, what? For those who don't know, April is Omarion's baby mother and ex, and Fizz, Omarion, Raz B, all them. They're part of the B2K. So she's not only in. April was friends with Moniece, which is Fizz's baby mother. So not only are you dating your ex's, like, probably best friend or was best friend and group member and a song group member, you're also dating your said friend in the past baby father. What are you doing? And I always looked at April as like the level-headed type person. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she would never do no janky stuff like that, or she's not like the rah-rah type. That's why she's not on Love and Hip Hop no more, because I guess she was kind of boring or whatever. But now, okay, I guess you earn your right back on Love and Hip Hop because you are making this drama child. But yeah, girl, come on now. I just was not feeling it. And I really wasn't gonna talk about this because I feel like they're like not that relevant, but hey, it's tea. It's something that I just found was interesting to talk about on the podcast. But yeah, she over here taking people mans and taking it, child, girl, talking to people best friends and group members and stuff, and Lord, child, I cannot. But anyway, on to other news. Now let's get a load of this. Getaway driver in Nipsey Hussle murder has been offered police protection because she fears for her life. Now, the getaway driver was the witness that revealed in court the reason for the entire dispute with Nipsey Hussle and attacker Eric Holder was because of a conversation about snitching. They had a little dispute about that. That's why he ended up shooting and killing Nipsey Hussle over a conversation that I guess they didn't agree with. Okay. Well, now she wants protection. And I'm like, this woman literally helped kill some people's favorite rapper. And I'm pretty sure Eric Holder's people are probably like, hey, you snitched, so you going down as well. So not only you're having some diehard Nipsey Hussle fans and some gang members that are just like pissed that you snitched on their boy, because 9 times out of 10, this Eric Holder probably isn't a gang. So yeah, you need protection. I would say so. I'm surprised they didn't just offer it to her just off the rip. You get what I'm saying? Whew, child. I mean, you gotta know what you're getting yourself into. Everybody want to be with these hood dudes, but everybody want to do the work. You get what I'm saying? No one wants to face the consequences. You can't just be getting in no getaway cars. You knew what he was trying to do. You should have been like, I'm out of this situation, child. You find your own way there, and if you break up with me, that's fine. Because my life cannot be taken just from some stupid situation. And now you have to be in protection. And you're probably gonna have a record. And I don't think the girl's name was, or none of her pictures or her name is like out in public or whatever, but people will find out. We will find out who you are, and it's going to hurt your reputation if you do care about that, because, reputation is everything in this country. So I would definitely, yeah, it's a mess. This is a pretty long pre-show, I will say. I hope you've enjoyed this studio. I know this podcast sounds so much better, and I'm glad that I could give you a good production If you want me to continue doing my podcast here, because I can only do this for like the whole summer, because after that I'm not doing the internship. I'm not going to be in the internship no more. So if you guys want me to come back into the studio and you want to listen to it like this, child, please give me a comment if you're watching this on YouTube, and if you're listening to it, give me a comment, like say, hey, stay in the studio on like the TDGS officials posts or whatever. So I know, if I get enough people, I might want to just stay on here, because I do like this. I like the sound. Although my sound is efficient, this sound is the over efficient. Okay. Until next time, I'm your host Darren Green, and this is the Darren Green Show, signing out.